Why, hello there, I'm Professor Joel, and welcome to another episode of Planet Scooby Reviews. Today we are covering Hassle in the Castle, which is either the second or third episode of Scooby-Doo, depending on how you look at it. So this originally aired in September 27th, 1969, and, we're still in the early stages of Scooby-Doo. We're just getting introduced to the characters, and I think this episode does a brilliant job of showing these characters' traits. They show how hungry Shaggy is and how danger-prone Daphne is and how nerdy Velma is and how brave Freddy is. And even Shaggy and Scooby are a bit brave in this one as they do charge the Phantom. So this episode does see the gang getting lost in a fog while out boating. And here they end up on Haunted Isle where they kind of crash their boat and they meet a spooky Phantom who's haunting an abandoned castle. And this was an episode request by Nick, to which it is his second favorite Scooby-Doo episode, his first being a clue for Scooby-Doo. And what Nick likes about this episode, among many things, is the Phantom laugh. And I would agree. This Phantom laugh is just as great as the spooky space kook. If you'd like to request a Scooby-Doo episode, the details to do so are in the description below. And enough of my chit-chat, let's get to the review. The episode begins with a spooky ghost in a castle tower looking out upon the ocean with a telescope. In his telescope, the Phantom sees the gang out boating. And we cut to the boat where Daphne comments on how spooky the atmosphere is due to fog.
You sure picked a spooky day to go boating, Freddy.
Velma gives the gang a brief science lesson on how ocean fog forms.
I said we're lost in a fog.
Meanwhile, Shaggy's enjoying a super shaggy sandwich which consists of marshmallow sardines and hot fudge. Due to the fog, Freddy accidentally crashes the boat on Haunted Isle.
It looks like we're stuck on Haunted Isle.
So the gang decide to head up to the old Vasquez castle where they might be able to find some help. While wandering the beach, Scooby finds an old map with a warning on the back for them to leave. Never once to turn away from danger, the gang forge on towards Vasquez Castle, which we learn is an old pirate castle. The old castle is deserted and dilapidated from the elements. Memories of its past remain inside, such as a suit of armor, some old furniture, and a painting of Vasquez the pirate.
That's Vasquez the pirate. He sailed the seas in 1612.
Freddy explains that Vasquez sailed the seas in 1612 and used the castle as a hideout. Velma proclaims that she read that old castles like this tended to be loaded with old traps, and as if on cue, danger-prone Daphne falls through a trap, separating her from the gang.
Well, what happened?
Hey, what happened?
We then hear the crazy cackle of the Phantom, which sends Freddy, Velma, Scooby, and Shaggy off running. We learn that Daphne has fallen safely in the inner sanctum of the castle, and through a stroke of luck, she unknowingly escapes the reach of a phantom hand reaching out for her. While searching for Daphne, Scooby and Shaggy get separated from Velma and Freddy. Fortunately, a haunted pirate skull points them in the right direction.
Thanks, man. It's all right. It's all right.
Terrified, Scooby and Shaggy run away from the talking skull. After being spooked by a floating ham sandwich that is cut in half by an animated suit of armor, Scooby and Shaggy meet up with Daphne and eventually Freddy and Velma.
He's all right, all right.
All right.
Here they see the Phantom for the very first time, and the Phantom warns them to leave Haunted Isle and to never return.
Leave Haunted Isle and never return.
Freddy and the gang charge after the Phantom and try to catch him, but as they jump at him, they phase right through the ghost, and then the ghost phases through a concrete wall. Velma tells everyone that there's a very logical explanation for all of this, in that the place is haunted. Daphne finds the episode's first clue, a giant key with the inscription, "Second Passage of the Old Bell." Since there is no bell in the castle, Velma concludes that the passage must refer to a passage in a book, so the gang head off to the castle library. In the library, they find the book called The Old Bell, and discover that the word catacombs is underlined. From there, they figure out the key must be used to open up the catacombs, so they head off to the basement. The key works and the gang find a room full of magic trick props, such as a saw him in 2 box, levitating tables, a top hat, and vanishing cabinetry, among many other things.
But what's all this magic stuff doing here?
At this point, Velma has the mystery solved. The Phantom cackles and makes another appearance and chases the gang around the castle.
The Phantom has spoken.
I warned you to leave the island. Now
hold you a pain.
In the chase scene, we get the gang interacting with several magical props, like a magic carpet and a saw him in two box. When the chase is finally over, Freddy plants his trap using a suit of armor, a crossbow, a cannonball, and an old spring. Also, he convinces Scooby to be bait and tells Scooby to do his best John Wayne imitation. Like most episodes, the trap has comic results, but they end up catching the Phantom in the end. At this point, the police have shown up as they spotted Freddy's maroon boat on the beach.
We spotted your beached boat and decided to investigate.
Unmasking the Phantom, it is revealed to be Bluestone the Great, an ex-magician who is wanted in 6 states.
Well, if it isn't our old friend Bluestone the Great, an ex-magician that's wanted in 6 states.
Bluestone came to Haunted Isle to find the fabled treasure of Vasquez the Pirate. Since there are so many treasure hunters out there, Bluestone used his magic tricks to keep fortune hunters away by scaring them. One of his biggest assets was a special film projector and trick mirrors, to which he could have his Phantom phase through the walls.
I could cast my image anywhere I wanted.
With another mystery solved, Scooby thinks he has found the treasure, but instead finds an irritated gopher. So I give this episode a 10 out of 10. This is just classic Scooby-Doo at its best. We get a creepy villain with a wicked laugh and a spooky setting with Haunted Isle. It's just brilliant. I just love the scenery in this episode, and it just oozes atmosphere. This is just a great looking episode. The old pirate castle is full of skulls and some skulls that talk. And there's old paintings whose eyes move, and we get old relics like suits of armor, wielding massive axes, and old cannonballs, and pirate cutlasses, and old paintings. And then you get all these magical props, which is just awesome as well. It just contributes a lot of fun to this episode. And I just love how innocent this is. The guy's just scaring away treasure hunters. I thought that was pretty cool and pretty interesting. And, I just love the talking skull and that hand reaching out towards Daphne, and those are used in many of the opening scenes in the Scooby-Doo titles. And there's also a lot of reaction videos of reaction shots of this gang used in the titles too, which I thought was great. If I had one complaint, it just might be that the animation's a bit too dark. I mean, the background scenes look awesome, the gang looks awesome, everything looks awesome, just it's kind of dark. And the Phantom himself looks a little hokey. He's not creepy, but it suits this episode for some reason. He's not creepy, but his creepy laugh makes him creepy, if you know what I'm saying. Just well done overall. So again, this is just a perfect 10 for me. And a lot of that just has to do with nostalgia and just how creepy everything is. And this is early on in the Scooby-Doo tropes, so we're just kind of learning everything about the gang, and it's just starting to emerge, and I just found that super cool and interesting. Once again, thank you for any likes, views, subscribes, comments on my website, or messages to me through email or Facebook or on Facebook, Messenger, whatever. I always enjoy hearing from you all. And until next week, when we will be doing our review for Scooby Natural, stay spooky.
Thanks, man.
It's all right.
All right.
He's all right, all right.
All right, all right, all right.